Hello, I'm Bassett T. Hound, and this is Hometown Theater. I'm serious as a heart attack. I'm talking to myself right now, or 451 viewers, some of which are in Focus Group of America, or whatever that name is. This is being recorded by the almighty Google Hangouts. And before I go into housekeeping, I'm going to, what am I going to do? I'm going to tap dance. I'm going to read the Gettysburg Address. I am going to do a number of things while we wait for Miss Wagner to appear. I will repeat this again. So if you're watching the replay, please ignore it and humor me. Now, the first thing you need to do is uncheck the little box below where it says auto refresh. If you're in the midst of chatting with your friends, you can be cut off when you're trying to type. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to be cut off. If you're like me, you're in the middle of a thought. You're in the middle of typing out what your thought is, but you can't type. So I uncheck that box and it doesn't auto refresh because it's going to cut me off every time. And I won't have it. I'll throw the computer out the window. I have very little tolerance. Very little tolerance. Now, let me look over and see. But you can't type. So I uncheck that box. Hold on. And it doesn't auto refresh. I got an iPad. I can see what's going on. All right. So there. So it's a summer day. We have for you this evening some plans. We are going to talk about some albums that we have, and I don't have any record albums. Jill had called me earlier and I took the call on my iPhone, and there she was showing some record albums that she has. And so the first one I see was Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. Well, that brought back memories for me because I, Bassett T. Hound, played the trumpet in 5th grade at Highland Elementary School, 5th, 6th, 7th at Euclid Junior High, 8th at Euclid Junior High, 9th at Euclid Junior High, and then I got into my sophomore year of high school And what happened? Well, they wanted me to play the trumpet out on the football field and freeze my lips off. I quit the trumpet and picked up the guitar. I cannot do this voice any longer. Basset T. Hound, you are going away. I don't know how this thing starts anyway. But we did learn yesterday exactly how to take the dog face off. And so there you have it. Now, I still do not see Jill on the screen, but we have viewers. And what we're going to talk about this evening is, today was deck day for me, and I was out in the back, actually back and front. We've got decking. And I got a very early, I got an early rise start this morning because it was they're calling for it to reach the 90s by 1 o'clock in the afternoon. There's no way I'm going to be out there staying in a deck at a 90-degree heat. So I was out there for 6 hours today and got done by the time it hit 85. Well, that was enough for me. So this was deck day. And when Jill and I talked yesterday, she asked me how the deck was coming. I said I hurt badly and that I have muscles that I didn't even know I had. And oh my God, they're the wrong muscles. And so anyway, so to get rid of that, I have my lawnmower beer, and my lawnmower beer is PBR. I'm in the microbrew USA, capital of the world. Even they've got more microbrews than Denver, and I thought Denver had a lot. Portland's got a lot of them, and so I've got the Lagunitas Daytime Ale. The Daytime Ale is cool because it's not 3-2 beer, but you can drink it during the day. It gives you that IPA taste, but it's low alcohol. So that's perfect for me. Otherwise, I'm down for the count pretty early. And then Jill says, well, what we have here in Minnesota is we have cider, the hard cider. And so I thought that just to let her know, and I don't know where she is, but that I've got this hot cider by the Square Mile Cider Company in, where is it? I have no idea. Portland, Oregon. Okay. There's apple cider, and it has too much sugar for me, so I don't drink much cider. But that's that. All right. Well, she said, hey, why don't we, I talked to her earlier and she said, I've got these albums out, and she starts showing me these albums of Herb Alpert and Tijuana Brass and Pat Benatar and all these different albums. I'm sitting there going, fantastic. I don't have any record albums in Oregon. I barely have any record albums left to my name anywhere. But I do have some CDs. And I also have some books here I wanted to show you of what a geek I am and what it is that by now that music had a huge part of my life growing up. But I wanted to show you some books I had gotten. I had gotten this book right here, Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin, and I got that as a gift. And I'm a huge Zeppelin fan. I'm a huge Jimmy Page fan. And so anything, they were about as metal as I got. And that was heavy metal at the time, and saw them a couple times in concert. But this is where I'm about ready to show you where I've got some real geek stuff going on. Oh, before I get to the books, I'm going to remind for those that are just getting on, there's a couple of things I want you to do. One is uncheck the auto refresh button down below. The auto refresh button is will keep the comments or the chat from refreshing, and that's probably Jill right there. I am on YouTube watching. Well, how come you aren't on YouTube? How come you're not on YouTube on the camera? Anyway, all right. So so that's number one, is to uncheck the auto refresh. Number two is there's a gear at the bottom of the. Well, no, I don't know if you can actually see it. No, this is just for people that are watching on YouTube itself, not in the Facebook feed. So if you're on Facebook and you've gone to hometownconcerts.com, or you're in the our app, the Hometown Social Club app, where you see me beaming live, then you don't have this. If you are on YouTube watching me, and I don't want to confuse things, but there is a gear where you can change it to 720 HD, and it's just a better video. But you can already tell that the video is much better than it was a couple of weeks ago, was it? I don't know. I think I canceled last week, where I was outside, way too far away from where my modem is, and it just was a stupid thing to do. Okay, so this is being recorded, and you can, people that aren't here live can rebroadcast, can watch this later, and the people that subscribe to the YouTube channel can watch this and switch if they need to get better resolution. So Jill had mentioned to me yesterday that she had this, isn't this great that there's you get this feeling of accomplishment when you're working on that. She's got a cabin in Minnesota. I was really hoping to hear that, to see that. I was hoping that she was actually going to join me on this, and I told her, I said, I just ached a lot, in that, it's great work. I do enjoy being outside working, but the deck is one thing that I don't know. I could definitely do without and get some help on. But you do feel better. You do feel good about yourself when you're out there and you've accomplished something. I've got the deck done now before the heat comes and all that. So yes, I have this feeling of accomplishment. Speaking of that, have you watched Pete Himmelman on his Big Muse? He does. I have asked him to post the morning muse, and he does it almost every day. And he's got, he's a deep individual. What he does for me is he kind of puts a topic on the table, and it has to do with why a lot of us are on Facebook to begin with. And, one of his big deals is that Facebook is this thing where everybody, tends to show their best, and, not the real life and all that kind of thing. And what I've told him, I said, hey, you know what? It's WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. And nobody is perfect. And the great thing about the focus group is we're all characters, and we all have different things. Some of us are readers, some of us are posters, some of us, go grab things to share. Some of us do, John Bowling does the Bowling Barrage, and I've lovingly given him that title to do the Bowling Barrage and all that kind of stuff. So people are going to get titles. And, but Himmelman and his, he is the example of some thoughts that, when they're laid on the table, we'll talk about, just where music there can be a lot of symbolism in music or whatever, and how music affects our, you know, our day, how books can do the same, how we as each other need to help each other. Because, you know, just in dealing with this little thing right here, in which there are going to be very few people watch. But the big thing is that I know how to work my microphone. I know how to work my camera. I actually know how to start this broadcast. Jill and I are still working out where, you know, we're going back and forth, you know, of one person on screen to another person on screen. And so, you know, I just got a text from Jill and she just said there's nothing on Facebook. So I am on Facebook right now. If you go to, you can go to a number of things, but go to hometownconcerts.com, which will take you to the Hometown Social Club Live Hangouts app. So it's the Live Hangouts on Hometown Social Club, and you can get to that by going to Facebook's Hometown Social Club, or you can just type in to your browser hometownconcerts.com. It'll take you to the Facebook feed. But that's what she's having a hard time doing. Is she's having a hard time getting into where she's actually a panel. What we want to do is we want to have people on here in which there's a number of there can be up to 10 people that are on this panel, whether it's an interview or whether it's just people chatting away, and that's the whole point of this. All right, now what I'm going to do is for a second I'm going to take a break, and I'm going to see how we can get Jill on here. So she's actually where we can show you how different panelists can be on these Google Hangouts and chatting. Interesting. All right, so just stand by for 1 second and I will be right back. Do not go anywhere, because we got a little more. We've got more to talk about. Got some books to show you, and Jill's got some albums to show you, and hopefully we can get this under control. And then what I've got to do is I've got to find out exactly how that I can just leave for a second and then come back. I'm just going to minimize this for a second, and I am going to send Jill. All right, so let's see, it's 6:20. So basically we try to have these 30 minutes, and let's see. I don't know. Well, what we did yesterday, well, there's my spider, but I'm not sharing my screen. All right, well, that's okay. I'm just going to wing it. I'm going to wing it myself, and Jill will be, hopefully Jill will be on next week or the week after, and we'll get this rolling. All right, so I'm going to show you. I don't have any record albums. I have got some CDs, although I hardly have any CDs. Everything is streaming in my world right now. So I have a subscription to, well, I was testing out a bunch of stuff for HSC, and anyway, here are my CDs. Here's a Harry Chapin CD, Greatest Stories Live. You know, I love stories. Amy Winehouse and her Frank Sinatra covers that she did. Warren Zevon, one of my favorite guys. The Werewolves of London guy. He's no longer living. Fleetwood Mac, Mystery to Me. Ricky Lee Jones. This happens to be, I don't even know what album this is. This is the Chucky's in Love gal, and in which Chucky Weiss is definitely one of the focus group members, and I hope to have Chucky on one of these hangouts and could interview him because he's a very interesting guy. T for the Tillerman, Cat Stevens. Always have been a Cat Stevens fan. Doesn't matter what phase he was in. Of course, it was much better when he came back and started singing real music again. Billie Holiday, Billy's Best. I'm not answering texts right now. I'm into my own thing. Let's see. Eric Anderson, Ghosts Upon the Road. I got into Eric Anderson when after I started doing the whole East Coast coffee house type stuff, folk and Dylan and Joan Baez and all that kind of stuff. Okay, let's see. Grateful Dead. Now, the Grateful Dead I never did see in concert. I can't believe I never did. And I was a latecomer to the Grateful Dead. But those are my CDs I have to show you. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you what a geek I am when it comes to some of this stuff. You may know or you may not know or whatever, I'm a huge Beatles fan and I'm a huge Dylan fan, but I've got these books that I brought up to Oregon. So when we're up here in Oregon, these are the books that they're reference books that I read them or whatever, but the first book is Beatles Gear. These are the instruments the Beatles used when they did their music. And I mean, this is about as geeky as you're going to get. Even the bookmark is a microphone, but that's not from this book. It's of a different book, and be waiting for that book. So this is Beatles Gear. This is the guitars they use, the drums, etc., when they use them or whatever. This is the Beatles anthology. I don't even have one of my books with me over on this pile. The Beatles anthology, I tell you everything about the Beatles you'd ever want to know. And then this is this is about as geeky as you're ever going to get. This is called Recording the Beatles. Look at how thick this book is and how heavy. It is very, very heavy. And I'll tell you, it's as geeky as you're ever going to get. I mean, it's so heavy I can hardly even lift it. But I saved the heaviest book for last. The heaviest book, because we're running on it. We got about 5 more minutes left. But this is something that I got as a gift, and you literally need a Torah stand to hold it. I mean, it is this big, this thick. And what this is I'll lift up. This is the lyrics of Bob Dylan. You know that I'm a huge Dylan fan, and this is every song he ever wrote, published in a book that is so heavy you can barely, it's on heavy parchment paper and very cool. But so rather than have record albums, I thought I'd show you the books, because these books are amazing books. And so while I don't have a lot of books, the books I do have are heavy. Heavy books, man, heavy books. So that's what I was going to show you. Jill was going to show you, she was going to show you her record albums that she has up at her cabin. And I'm just looking to see Jay Brady says he found it. It's amazing how everybody has a hard time. So this is what happens is and I don't know, you know, Jay, go ahead and type in the comments section how you found it. If you go to hometownconcerts.com and enter that, you're going to find it, right? If you go to Hometown Social Club, not the focus group, but the Hometown Social Club, and you go to the tabs up there, and you find live hangouts, or I can't remember what is it called. I don't know. Anyway, you'll find it there as well. So I'm really sorry that Jill and I couldn't get it together to actually both be on here today, but this has been it's been fun, and it actually has been laborious showing you all of my heavy books. I'm going to go back to Bassett T. Hound. Now, this is the thing about ending the show with Bassett T. Hound. None of us at Hometown Shopping Club, it's not a shopping club, it's a social club. And you won't believe how many times this dog says Hometown Shopping Network when I'm talking about HSC. That's why I say HSS. So it's Hometown Social Club. It's not even a network, but it is going to be a network one of these days. I've been working with Family Dogs so much lately that I was playing dilly-dallying around with this and got this will forever be my monocled character as I lead into Hometown Theater. So thank you for tuning in. I'm 6:29. I told you it'd be 30 minutes. And this is Mark Hawkins, Hometown Social Club, and Bassett T. Hound signing off. Good day.